Welcome into NBA Now. I'm Chase Senior. Give me a follow on Twitter at Chase_Senior. Love talking hoops with everybody. Coming up, an updated look at the NBA playoff picture. But first, shout out our sponsor, Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/chat, enter the promo code chat, and you get 20% off plus free shipping on the best men's grooming products. So the NBA regular season, it's going to wrap up on May 16th. Can't believe it's already here. And here's how everything shakes down with the playoffs this year. Top 6 teams in each conference automatically make the playoffs. 7 through 10 seeds qualify for the play-in tournament. Play-in tournament starts on May 18th, with the playoffs tipping off on May 22nd. Let me know, Hoops fans, are you pumped for the NBA playoffs? If you are, hop into the comments down below and type me. You already know we have you covered here at Chat Sports. Let's start off by taking a look at what's shaking out in the Eastern Conference right now. Here's the updated bracket if the season were to end today. Sixers close to locking up that number 1 spot. They play the 8 seed to be determined in that play-in tournament. Knicks, Hawks. What a wonderful matchup that could be in the 4-5 matchup. Bucks Heat, a rematch of the second round last year when the Heat were victorious, upsetting Milwaukee, and the Brooklyn Nets also going to play one of those play-in to be determined teams. As for the Eastern Conference standings right now, Sixers 47-21. Can they get to 50 wins in a 72-game regular season? We'll see. A couple games left for them to do so. Nets struggling a little bit, but still firmly entrenched in second place at 44-24. How about the red-hot Milwaukee Bucks? They've been playing awesome basketball over the last few weeks. They are 43-25 in the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. Knicks 38-30 in that 4 spot. Hawks right on their heels at 38-31. This is where things get really interesting in the Eastern Conference. Heat picked up a massive win over the Celtics on Sunday. They're in the 6th seed at 37-31. Celtics now without Jaylen Brown at 35-33. They are currently free-falling. Charlotte Hornets, a great story in the NBA so far this season. 8th seed currently, 33-35 on the season. Pacers at 32-36. And the Washington Wizards. Bradley Beal out for the next couple of games because of a hamstring injury. Russell Westbrook just broke Oscar Robertson's record for the most triple doubles in NBA history. They've been rocking out at 32-37. The Bulls have a slight chance of making the playoffs, but as of now, looks like they're on the outside looking in. And these 12 through 15 teams, they've been eliminated. The Raptors, Magic, Cavaliers, and Pistons, no shot at the playoffs this year. Why must you be intrigued by the Eastern Conference? A lot of fascinating storylines to follow. 76ers are red hot. They've won 8 straight, but Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid have never advanced past the second round of the playoffs as a duo. Kawhi Leonard quadruple bounce, yeah, knife in my heart. Nets, who are they? James Harden, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, they've only played 7 games together. Is that sustainable in the playoffs? We're about to find out over the next couple of months. The Milwaukee Bucks, can they finally get over the hump? Some playoff demons there. Giannis hasn't really played well in the postseason. Can they do so this year? The Knicks and Hawks, really intriguing newcomers in the 4-5 spots in the Eastern Conference. They're really, really fun teams to watch and have really good young cores. And look out, because the Miami Heat are lurking. Made it to the finals last year, have had to deal with a lot this year. They've been streaking recently. They're certainly lurking. And I'll tell you what, Sixers, Nets, Bucks do not want to play the Miami Heat right now. Which team is going to win the East? Could it be the Sixers? Could it be the Nets? Could it be the Bucks, the Hawks, the Knicks, or one of those other teams? Maybe even the Heat as well. Get your votes in the comment section below and let us know who you think will win the East. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia 76ers right now, close to locking up that number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. That would be huge for Philly, because over the last couple of seasons, they have been dominant at home, not as much on the road. This year, 27-7 at the Wells Fargo Center in South Philadelphia, and Philadelphia just announced that the Sixers can have a crowd up to 50% capacity at their arena once the playoffs start. We know Philly, they like to boogie and get down. That crowd can get raucous. And my big question with the Sixers, Joel Embiid's going to have to be the guy. They don't have a wing player who's going to break you down and get a bucket late in the shot clock, late in games. It's going to have to be Embiid. Is he going to be able to do it in this modern day of the NBA when big men haven't traditionally over the last couple of years dominated? Joel Embiid has shown that he's capable. He's going to have to do it in the postseason. Big men's season. Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, the front runners for the MVP. Who would have predicted that prior to the season with the way that things are moving in terms of offense in the NBA? As for the Brooklyn Nets, looks like James Harden is going to be ready at least for the start of the playoffs or early in the playoffs. According to head coach Steve Nash, starting to ramp up his activity a little bit. And of course, like the Brooklyn Nets have to be taken seriously because they have three of the best scorers in the history of the NBA in Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. But the big question with Brooklyn, that trio has only played 7 games together, and their defense is atrocious. So can a trio and a core that's only played in a small sample size together make a run to the NBA Finals? That would be unprecedented. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you in or out on the Brooklyn Nets? Type I for yes, I'm all the way in. Type O for no chance. They're dangerous. I'm not touching them. I'm out. I'm going to go ahead and type O for out. I'm not believing in a team that hasn't played together, no semblance of continuity or consistency, making a run deep into the NBA playoffs. Want to take a look at some other matchups that were to take place if the season were to end today. Bucks Heat. 3-6 matchup. Heat won and beat Milwaukee last year in the second round. Came as a shock to a lot of people in the bubble down in Florida. The Nets, they're going to play one of those play-in winners that will be determined in the play-in tournament. I want to pose this question for you people. Can the Heat make it back to the finals? I mentioned that they're lurking. They're certainly dangerous. I think Eric Spoelstra, you can make the argument, he's the best coach in the NBA right now. Jimmy Butler, he's not going to get MVP votes, but he's been playing like an MVP. He's certainly valuable to his team, and I love how well-rounded that roster is. They're dangerous. They're lurking. I think they can make a run at the NBA Finals. What do you think? Type Y for yes or type N for no. When you're playing pickup, or if you play rec league, or if you're in high school playing high school hoops, or maybe you're a professional basketball watching us here at Chat Sports, and you want to listen to these beautiful takes from me when it comes to hoops takes, is there a better feeling than just dribbling at the free throw line and draining a shot, nothing but net, and it's that sound of nothing but net? That's a great feeling, right? You know it's also a great feeling? When you trim up your beard, you give yourself a shape up, you're looking fresh for the ladies, or you clean yourself down below. Because if you're hairy down there, your lady will think that you're scary. Well, here's some good news for you. Manscaped just released the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. We have a deal that you got to rock with. 20% off plus free shipping if you go to manscaped.com/chat, enter the promo code chat, and you get that deal. Look, the Lawnmower 4.0 on sale right now for $71.99. It's one of the best deals out there. Interchangeable blades, technology that doesn't cut you up at all, so you can safely use it on your face, change up the guard, one of 4 of those, and use it down below. It's a deal that you just don't want to miss out on. And all of us here at Chat Sports, we use these products. That's why my hair is looking immaculate and my facial hair is on point. So once again, manscaped.com/chat, enter the promo code chat. You get 20% off plus free shipping on the best men's grooming products. Let's shift over now to the playoff picture in the Western Conference. Jazz, in at that number 1 seed. They've been awesome this year. They're going to play the 8 seed. 4-5 matchup between the Nuggets and Mavericks. If that matchup ends up coming to fruition, I think it's going to be one of the most intriguing first-round matchups in the NBA playoffs. Clippers and Blazers. Dame could go off and send the Clippers home packing, which would be back-to-back years in which They just were a disaster in the playoffs. We'll see if that ends up happening. The Phoenix Suns, like the Utah Jazz, one of the best stories in the NBA. I think the Jazz and Suns have to be taken for real, and they've been flip-flopping in those number 1 and 2 spots. Only a couple games left to decide what is going to happen in the West atop the conference. Let's take a look at those Western Conference standings right now. Jazz 50-19, 2-game lead on the Suns in the win column. They're in at first place. Suns, Clippers, Nuggets, Mavericks, shaking out the 2 through 5 spots in the West. Like the East, Western Conference playoff picture in terms of teams on the bubble of being in the play-in tournament and not really interesting. You're looking at the Trailblazers, 6th place, massive win over the Lakers last Friday. They now have the tiebreaker and a 2-game lead over Los Angeles in the win column. They're at 40-29. They skidded for a while. Now they're red hot. The Lakers, LeBron set to come back tonight for the Lakers Tuesday as we record this. They need him because they certainly need that boost. Warriors got a huge win over the Jazz last night. Steph Curry continuing to do Steph Curry things. I think the Warriors are going to end up in that 8th spot. So then you're looking at the Grizzlies and Spurs in those 9 through 10 spots. Pelicans, they were eliminated from Western Conference playoff contention with a loss last night, 31-38. Those other teams, Kings, T-Wolves, Thunder, and the Rockets, also eliminated from making it to the playoffs. My goodness. Rockets fans, I feel bad for you. 16-53, but you're tanking. You can get a good draft pick in the 2021 NBA draft coming up in July. Reasons to be intrigued by the Western Conference playoff picture. It's a wild, wild West, and the West is certainly wide open because I have no idea, like no clue at all, who's going to win the Western Conference because there's so much to be decided. Injuries, newcomers, young teams, experienced teams that haven't gotten it done. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? Suns and Jazz atop the Western Conference, they're really good, really talented, deep, versatile, but they're also unproven. Clippers playoff demons. Are they going to resurface this year like they did last year? I think they could because, hey, Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers in crunch time haven't really been good or efficient this year. Nuggets with Jokic, who I think is going to win the MVP. They've been really good without Jamal Murray. How do they fare without a bucket getter in the playoffs, though? That's my big question with Denver. And can the Lakers get healthy? That's really the big question with LA. They have to get healthy because if LeBron's not on the floor, no shot they make a run, even if AD continues to hoop like he's been hooping. Which team is going to win the West? I have no idea. I'm not even going to make a prediction. I want you to make a prediction, though, and do so in the comment section below. Let's touch on those Utah Jazz. Quinn Snyder done a terrific job out in Utah, Salt Lake City, shout out. I think he's the NBA Coach of the Year. And for the Jazz, all comes down to Donovan Mitchell's health. Hurt his ankle back a couple weeks ago. Should be back sometime soon. If he's not 100% or close to 100%, I don't like the Jazz's chances of making a deep run. And with Donovan Mitchell, they've had playoff moments of late, but haven't necessarily broken through. Donovan Mitchell, one of the best young scorers in the league. They absolutely need him in playoff situations to be able to get buckets at the end of games, and they just need him healthy. That's just the bottom line with Utah. As for the Phoenix Suns, what if the Suns have to play either the Lakers in the first round, which I think would be a disastrous matchup for them, especially if LeBron's healthy, or the Warriors, a team that I think that they would fare better against? I'd be scared if I'm a Phoenix fan of playing the Lakers because for Phoenix, I think they just need to find out who they are earlier on in the playoffs, and I don't know they'd be able to do that against a Lakers team that won the championship last year. The Suns, got to give them credit, though. They have gone from being a joke to a serious contender. And I hope they don't have to play the Lakers in the first round because I'd like to see Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and the boys make a run because they're a really fun team to watch. Why are they a serious contender? Chris Paul and Monty Williams. The effect that they have had has been real. Chris Paul should be getting MVP consideration. Monty Williams should be getting Coach of the Year conversation. That's why the Suns right now are 48-20. Do you think the Jazz or Suns, two small market teams, can win the West? Because they're small market teams, they don't get a lot of respect. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. They can throw up that V for victory. I think both of those teams are certainly capable of winning the West, but type your V for victory or type E for, it's too early for the Jazz and Suns. Let's continue on with looking at the playoff picture in the West. As currently constructed, Clippers would play the Blazers. Dame time, Dame Lillard, wouldn't surprise me one iota if he just averages like 40, 45 points for a series and is able to oust the Clippers right away. For the Clippers, it's all about late game execution. The addition of Rajon Rondo has me taking the Clippers seriously because they desperately needed a point guard. Right now, I go with the Clippers, but that is a fascinating matchup in the first round and one that I think could go either way. Suns would play that play-in to be determined winner. We'll see what happens there. As for the Clippers, let's go back to it. Playoff demons, they're hanging in the rafters of the Staples Center. Going back to when it was the big three of CP3, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, and I'll add the big four with JJ Redick, Doc Rivers as head coach. They just haven't been able to get it done. Is it going to be the year, or will the Clippers get upset in round one? Type U for upset, type F for nah, they're fine. Get your votes in down below. With the NBA regular season winding down, play-in tournament right around the corner, NBA playoffs on the horizon, we are going to bring you some incredible content here at Chat Sports, breaking everything down. Every scenario that you can imagine, we have you covered. So if you haven't subscribed to our Chat Sports main YouTube channel, do so right now by hitting the big red button down below or go to youtube.com/chatsportstv.